Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. My name is StephaneMacay. If you haven't been here before, welcome to my channel. Once again, my name is StephaneMacay. And today we're talking about Love and HipHopMiami Season 2, Episode 1, entitled Take It to the House. We start off with Trina going to an interview with other rappers. I don't really recall who else was there. I do remember seeing Miss Mulatto. She's from the Lifetime reality show, Rap Game. I think she was on the first season, and there was another artist by the name of Dreezy there. They were basically talking about female empowerment in the rap industry or the hip hop industry. And as we all know, there is no female empowerment in the hip hop industry. It really does feel like it's every woman for themselves when it comes to female hip hop. You rarely see them all come together, collaborate, empower, uplift. So it was kind of cute to see the interview. After the interview, Trina sits down with the guy that was hosting the interview. I don't remember his name. He's not a cast member. And she was just basically saying how Trick Daddy wasn't being as involved in the Trick and Trina project or the album or whatever it is, and it was starting to discourage her, upset her, and he basically encouraged her to stay in it, stay with it, like just try, Trick and Trina are legends. Apparently he was talking about just in Miami because they're not really legends where I am. And then after that we move on to seeing Young Hollywood. He's going to this place, and I guess it's called Little Haiti or Little Havana. I'm not sure. I don't know too much about Miami. And while he's there, he meets up with Gunplay. And Gunplay, if you don't know, he was in a relationship last season. He basically they focused on his addiction and his relationship with a girl named Kiara. Now, as he's talking to Young Hollywood, we come to find out that him and Kiara aren't living together as of right now. They need time apart. Kiara found some DMs. Marla Negra was in the DMs. So from this point forward, I'm going to refer to Marla Negra as the DM monster, because based off the clips showing the entire season, that tends to be a big part of her storyline. And Young Hollywood basically convinced Gunplay, to talk to Kiara. Don't lose her. You love her so much, don't lose her. And I agree. And we'll see later on in the episode when they do finally talk. After that, we're introduced to a new Instagram. We're introduced to a new cast member. She's known for her Instagram videos. Her name is Jessie Woo. I've seen her on the Queen Supreme Court with Maddie, but I've never seen any of her Instagram videos. So me seeing her on Love and Hip Hop is only my second form of exposure to her. And she's talking about her mom. Apparently her mom is a really traditional Haitian woman, and she's very religious. I think she's a pastor or something. And they have a cute little conversation back and forth. And then Jessie basically tells us about her upcoming brunch, which we'll see later on in the episode. Once we move past that, we get to Bobby Lights. Well, I was just excited to see Bobby Lights, but it wasn't Bobby Lights' scene. It was actually Prince's scene. Last season, Prince was this promoter. He was in this beef with this other promoter. But this season, he's basically taking the stance of, trying to get out of the nightlife scene. And he's at this party with his father. He brushes over, his background, how he's been in and out of jail. This is that and the third. And then Bobby Lights and Miami Tip come into the scene. And as soon as Prince walks away, we basically hear a conversation with Bobby Lights and Tip. And he is just basically JoJo told me that Prince is not my friend for, humble, honest, pure reasons. He's just being my friend to take advantage of opportunities that are being allotted to me. And Miami Tip is just basically oh no, why would JoJo say that? I thought JoJo and Prince were cool, but we'll also brush past that again later on in the episode. In the midst of all of this, they show us Amara La Negra, and she was one of the breakout stars of Love and HipHopMiami last season. And this year, they basically show us and tell us how she's doing so much better in her music career. We actually see her performing at Fashion Week performance. She had these really pretty butterflies in her hair. I thought it was such an innovative idea. So cute. It was really aesthetically beautiful. She's on the runway. She's performing as the girls are walking by. And as soon as she gets off the stage, she realizes she has all these missed calls from her mom. So she calls her mom to find out what happened. And basically we find out that her mother is in the hospital. She got burnt. And when I say the pictures of the burns look gruesome, like they were all up her arm, and it was just so terrible. But we see Amara talk to her mom, and she's like, what happened? And her mother was like, oh, the candle, you know, the fire started to spread. I tried to grab it to put it out. And Amara's like, it's because I'm gone so much. When in all actuality, whether Amara's there or not, it was really a situation that couldn't have been avoided, I guess. I don't know. I just think Amara Negra was just saying it just to say it. I mean, I'm not saying that. I don't know. On this next scene, we meet this rapper named Chaotic, and he has dreadlocks. I guess that's how I describe him right now. I'm not gonna get too much into it. I know I'm not in the business of being shady or nothing, but he meets up with Trick Daddy, and basically he asks Trick, you know, how are things going with you and Trina in regards to the Trick and Trina project. And Trick Daddy is just basically like, oh, she's doing too much, she's blowing me up, right. And literally at this moment, Trina is calling him, like trying to figure out why he's not at the studio. And it's so funny because then we segue into Trina basically saying that all Trick needs to do is record. He isn't recording any of his tracks. It's just basically her. Like, she's doing what she needs to do. Everything that she's responsible and obligated to is laid. And it's just she's waiting on Trick, and Trick's beating around the bush. I believe this 100% because we actually see it. You know, Trick is avoiding Trina. Trina's literally in the studio. He's not answering her phone calls. So I understand her frustration. The next scene, we go into Amara and JoJo, you know, meeting up, talking, and that's always, I like Amara and JoJo's friendship because, I mean, JoJo and Amara do really seem loyal to each other, so every time I see them together, it does read as organic to me. But basically, a conversation comes up about how Bobby is messy. Like, Amara thinks Bobby is messy. JoJo thinks Bobby is JoJo is starting to see that Bobby is messy. And all y'all messy. So I don't even understand what the big deal is. But that was basically the gist of the conversation. And the next thing we get to Jessie Woo's Sister Talk Live. Apparently, Sister Talk is something that Jessie Woo was doing on her own, and she just decided to do it, take it live. And it's actually like a brunch style, like they're at a restaurant. They're eating brunch and they're just talking. And this month, or however frequently they record, they're talking about, you know, women and their moms, their connection with their moms. And I thought it would have been really nice if if Jessie's mom was able to come, because the Jessie and her mother dynamic is really interesting to watch. But we have JoJo there with her mom. We remember her mom from last season. Then we have Tip Drill there with her mom, and Joy's there too. I don't know why Joy was there. I don't know why Joy's here after time, but they're having a cute little talk, and basically they cut to break, and in the break, in the break, things just go awry. JoJo's mom basically outs to everybody that JoJo is dating Pleasure P. If you do not know who Pleasure P is one of the main group members in a group called Pretty Ricky, and he was also on the show last season. So she was like, you know, singers, have a lot of women, and I just don't want my daughter to get hurt. And of course I understand that perspective, but JoJo was like embarrassed. And then JoJo asked Joy like, oh, how do you feel about me dating Pleasure? And Joy's like, anybody is better than Shay. And that is anybody's better than Shay, apparently. Why they shading Shay and we ain't even seen her this season, I don't know. I like Shay, but apparently no one else does. But considering that Joy and Shay got into a physical altercation at the very end of the season last year, I understand why Joy would say anybody is better than Shay. But and then in this moment, Jessie Woo then brings up the fact that her ex-manager is Amara La Negra's current manager, and that he was taking her ideas and feeding them to Amara. And then also she explains a situation where Amara La Negra basically came on to her boyfriend. And JoJo is like, of course I'm going to say something to Amara about this. That's my friend. I'm real. Everything's real on this. And Tip Drill then gets I call that girl Tip Drill. Miami Tip gets offended and she's like, you're real, but yet you talk about Amara to Bobby. You talk about Bobby to Amara. You talk about Prince to Bobby. You talk about Bobby to Prince. Basically saying that you run your mouth about all your friends, so how loyal really are you? JoJo gets offended, and you could tell she's getting offended because she's starting to use profane language towards Miami Tip. And of course Miami Tip is not about to sit there and be disrespectful, so she's like, okay, me and my mom about to go. In other words, I'm gonna walk out before I max. Which is respectable. So Miami Tip leaves. But before Miami Tip leaves, she basically says like, oh, Amara did the same thing to Kiara in Gunplay. Like, oh, she was in Gunplay's DM. Kiara saw the DMs between Amara and Gunplay, and that's kind of why they're not together now. So basically they're trying to shape the narrative that Amara La Negra is a homewrecker. That isn't good for her brand, but we're going to see how it plays out throughout the season, okay? And then after this scene, so that's when Tip leaves, that's pretty much the end of the scene. The next thing we see is Kiara and Gunplay having a conversation as to why they aren't together. And it is a very emotional scene, but basically Kiara, what I got is that Kiara is fed up. She's been through Gunplay, through his addiction. She's been with Gunplay through, you know, his investment into his music. But one thing she can't hold him down through is cheating. And you entertaining females in DMs is a form of cheating. Gunplay saying that's all it was. He never got physical with anyone and never got past DMs. But I do understand Kiara's frustration in this situation. So it ends with Kiara saying, you know, I need time, and Gunplay ends up leaving her apartment. And the last scene of the entire episode is basically the Trick and Trina. So take it to the house. It was apparently their anniversary. I don't recall how many years of an anniversary it was, but the damn show went first. And they're basically doing a performance, a Trick and Trina performance, where the main song performed is Take It to the House. Now, they have a conversation before the performance, and it basically goes nowhere. During the performance, they performed Take It to the House. It was cute. It was low budget, but cute. And after Take It to the House goes off, one of Trina's songs, I guess, goes to play. Like, Trick can hear the backtrack to Trina's song about to play. She's about to perform her song. And Trina's just, Trick is basically not having it. He goes to the DJ and like, cut it. That's not a part of the set list. So this inspires Trina to basically lose it. She's like going off like, he don't respect me. He don't respect my art. He don't respect my heart. I don't know. Girl, she is going off, maxing. Basically saying that Trick is disrespecting her. Now the fact that it was her song about to play, it is kind of disrespectful to like cut it while it's currently playing. But Trina has a meltdown. That's basically how the episode ends. At this point, this isn't the part in the video where we do I don't like this line, so we're going to cut that part out. this is the point in the video where we do our moment of shade. And this is where every video where I take 3 moments from the entire episode and I basically make a little shady joke. It's nothing too serious, just a little cute little fun shade. First I want to address chaotic. Now, I will say that his rap persona and name does definitely match his appearance. Because he looks chaotic. He needs a retwist with the abundance of other things. There's something about face tattoos that just make people look dirty. So him, you know, having a face tattoo and then needing a retwist and then having so many locks matted together all over his head. Chaotic was definitely the perfect rap name for him. Second part, is Joy hairstylist? I thought last season she was a hairstylist, but this season she's like a backup dancer for Trina. But that's not saying much because her background dancers don't really dance. They was just kind of in outfits and around. So I mean, it wasn't a big jump from what she was already doing. Maybe she was responsible for that lace front that Trina had on, them braids. You know, I don't like braided lace fronts, but whatever. I guess she looked cute. I guess. And number 3, I definitely wish, I feel like Trina would be as big as Nicki Minaj if she invested the same amount of energy she did into their on-screen breakdown into her music career. And then she could apply that same energy to them dry lace fronts. When I say dry, I mean they look dry. Not like they need moisture, but they look like they need help. Okay? Especially that wet and wavy confessional one. How is wet? How your hair supposed to be wet, but it's dry? It's wet and dry at the same time. It's crazy. That's pretty much it, you guys. If you like this video, like this video. If you like me, then subscribe down below. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. And I'll be sure to talk to you guys later. Bye.